Crowdfunding. We the people have been given an opportunity to change our lives, our children's futures, and to rebuild America. The SEC approved our united process of raising unlimited capital for jointly owned businesses through our crowdfunding portal. Occupy this, occupy that. We the people are not a military force that can seize by conquering or invading a space or place. The smart thing to do is to move on toward our goals by joining together as a group with specific goals and a plan to reach them. Why do we live unfulfilled lives under the debt system where we own nothing and spend our lives in drudgery as the slaves of the elite capitalist class paying interest? We live that way because we've been trained to accept our circumstances without complaint. If we complain, it's mere bitching. No one hears us, no one cares. There is another way. We can now become the capitalists. We can be free. The Mondragon Cooperative. Professor Richard Wolff has taught us that we can create a democratic capitalist format. In 1957, a Jesuit priest, Father Jose Ariméndez, brought 6 Basque peasants together with a handful of pesos, about $50, to form a corporation they called the Mondragon Cooperative. Spain was virtually destroyed by its civil war, with devastation and very deep poverty. This small group started their business with a tiny cooking stove burning paraffin as a fuel. In 2016, the Mondragon Cooperatives have 100,000 members and own billions of Eurodollars worth of real estate, corporate assets, and capital. Mondragon has universities, trade schools, retirement villages, the largest new product development campuses in all of Europe, the biggest grocery chain in Spain, and their region has the lowest unemployment rates in the world. Mondragon started up with no capital, building a small stove that no one knew they needed, without business backgrounds, in a poverty-stricken economy, and without engineering skills or marketing expertise. They learned as they grew. They had faith. They believed they could build something better, and they did it. It took them 59 years to get to their present status. There was no interest. Few were literate. All were hungry. The Ohio Healthy Food Cooperative. What an opportunity! Known, well-defined markets with immediate needs, means of reaching those markets with proven systems. Service to America, clean air, clean water, clean soil, clean food. New permanent jobs that are local. Eliminate poverty, hunger, and homelessness. Build hope for the future, broaden horizons, build personal fulfillment and independence, freedom from debt slavery, security in old age, better health for all from good food, well prepared and enjoyed. We can set the wheels in motion that will free us from the poisons we now eat. We are the people. We are the captains of our own destiny. As individuals, we are without power. As a group, we strike fear into the hearts of oppressors. They can only subjugate us as long as we endure it. We have no reason to be fearful. We now have the opportunity to begin a virtual revolution by joining like-minded people all over America. There is great power in numbers. Forget about protests. Forget about politics. Forget about rallies. Do something concrete and do it now. Crowdfunding. The Ohio Healthy Food Cooperative was chartered in 2015 as a farmers cooperative. OHFC has a plan. It was named the Healthy Food Cooperative because its primary purpose is to grow wholesome food without the use of toxic chemicals or altered DNA genes, grown from natural seed called heritage seed. Our goal is to restore every person in the United States to good health. We are what we eat. Today we are eating slow-kill poison food, grown for us by despicably greedy corporations that wish to establish total control of the occupants of their ant farm. This same conglomeration of power-mad enslavers seek world domination through corporate controls of world trade, calling their schemes partnerships. The New World Order is a Nazi scheme for world domination. We defeat the WTO, NWO, NAFTA, CAFTA, TIPP, and TPP by organizing ourselves to make them irrelevant. And we teach the rest of the world to organize themselves to create better lives. Labels. The skull and crossbones are symbols of death, warning us of toxic poisons, and were used by pirates in their flags and ensigns, hoisted at the last minute before battle to strike fear in opponents. Many in the front-line battles of confrontation with the corporate giants of agribusiness have already been smeared because they would not shut up. Lifetime careers have been ended. Brave and ethical activists have not been silenced. Keeping your head down may save your hide, but what of our children? Attorney Tom Lindsay, speaking to an Earth at Risk meeting, describes how communities can take back their power and reverse corporations. We must demand that corporations list the GMO ingredients in their products. We need the labels to identify our risks. They should be the skull and crossbones. Glyphosate. The agenda of capital monopolists is the control of the economy. The agenda of government is maintenance of the status quo. The agenda of seed monopolists is the control of food. The agenda of funders is the preservation of capital. The agendas of do-gooders is self-preservation. The agenda of financiers is risk avoidance. The agenda of politicians is re-election. Glyphosate is the principal ingredient of the herbicide Roundup. Roundup kills weeds. Roundup kills bushes. Roundup kills trees. Roundup kills soil fauna. Roundup kills the food sources for animals and birds. Scientists think Roundup kills us. Henry Kissinger said, "Control the oil and control the nations. Control the food and control the people." The agenda of seed monopolists is the control of food, all food. Anti-glyphosate. The Ohio Healthy Food Cooperative. The agenda of OHFC is the end of runaway inequality. The agenda of OHFC is regenerative agriculture. The agenda of OHFC is healthy food for all. The agenda of OHFC is bright futures. The agenda of OHFC is hope for kids. The agenda of OHFC is clean water. The agenda of OHFC is clean air. The agenda of OHFC is good jobs. The agenda of OHFC is now. Join the Healthy Food Cooperative. Glyphosate kills weeds by denying access to minerals that are essential to human health. By applying the fertilizers made by Bayer, Dow, DuPont, Monsanto, and Syngenta, these genetically modified crop plants are given enough nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium to grow and produce grain and fruit. The basic molecule of glyphosate is inserted directly into the DNA strand of the mother plant through tissue culture. Seeds are harvested from that plant, and they contain the glyphosate gene molecule. This new characteristic of the modified DNA is passed on to everything that consumes it. Sexual reproduction passes the newly modified DNA component on to offspring of the plant. The newly modified DNA cannot be removed or changed. It is a new gene expression for eternity. Did anyone volunteer to become the guinea pigs for this mad experiment? There is a biblical instruction that has not been heeded. What God has wrought, let no man put asunder. Because we have developed the systems to mix the genes of different species and chemical elements that have been combined in the laboratory, does not confer the right to produce Frankenstein food. Monopoly is an ugly word. It is a denial of free choice. Monopoly enslaves. Monopolies deny opportunities. Monopolies destroy democracy. The chemical giants of the world own the politicians we elected to work for the people. The revolving doors of monopoly business recycle the careers of soulless men whose greed overwhelms any concern about families, theirs or ours. A massive group of determined people can change the ballgame. If you thought about joining the Occupy movement, you need to consider how you and your brothers and sisters can do a hell of a lot more than just occupy. Face it, folks, the people that you want to occupy look through their glass walls and see you as a colony of ants. You must see them for what they are, aardvarks, ant-eaters. If you're as tired as I am of being lunch, put some money where your placards and mouth are. Join the Ohio Healthy Food Cooperative today. The fate of the human race is at stake. The monopoly monsters are setting up a predicted scenario that by 2050 will result in barren soils with all life destroyed and no potential of revival. Armageddon? Or a man-made catastrophe? The result is the same. Your children and your children's children cannot exist. Can we challenge these behemoths? Long ago, our ancestors defeated the fanged monsters that tried to eat them. The internet, our cell phones, and the miracles of communication are available to us. We can defeat these damn monopolists. We outnumber them by the billions. They need us to eat their shit. Let's shut them down. We don't have to take it anymore. The Ohio Healthy Food Cooperative is the core basis of healthy food cooperatives all across America. If the 1957 Basque peasants of Spain were smart enough to design a new business format that grew from $50 and 6 members to 100,000 members with billions of euro dollars invested in universities, trade schools, credit union banks, new product development facilities, just imagine what a determined group of highly motivated and educated Americans can do today with pooled resources in the millions. Franklin Roosevelt said, "The greatest thing we have to fear is fear itself." The bloody monopolists have more to fear than we do. Ohio Healthy Food Cooperative. Join us today, and we'll grow in Michigan, Indiana, Pennsylvania, New York, Virginia, North Carolina, Missouri, Kansas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Arkansas, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, California, Iowa, Kentucky, Illinois, South Carolina, and Texas and Florida. Join a movement that builds your future. You can invest as little as $20 or as much as $2,000. A lot of people investing a small amount can create a sufficient base to make this work. Crowdfunding. Crowdfunding. This picture of 14 little kids at the Linden district of Columbus, Ohio, are our crowd. These are the folks we need to fund. Join